One World Religion Part 16. And if you want to name the religion, it's quite easy. Just call it the religion of sublime good. So it's quite easy. Now, today we're going to go into the leitmotif of religion, which is the afterlife and how to escape perdition. Now, Buddhism talks about hells, so does Islam. Catholicism, Judaism with Gehenna, and Hinduism. So obviously, the concept of hell and being tortured for evil is something which is common to all the religions. Now, at present, a lot of you, not myself, but a lot of you are in lockdown, in self-isolation, being fined or arrested for leaving your prisons and wandering around your own country. So obviously, things are right, because did you ever think that your own country would become a giant prison? So if you're in America, you're in prison. In Canada, prison. And Europe, prison. Luckily, I'm in sunny Vietnam, where you can wander around all day to your heart's content. But that's the benefit of communism, not Western liberal democracy, which has put its entire population in prison. So as you can see, the hell on earth has already arrived for the population. You don't know when your Chinese virus is going to go away. You're all waiting for the mythical vaccine, which of course is totally harmless, doesn't have RNA recombinant vectors or tags, so Brzezinski's psychotronic world of beam weapons in lampposts and satellites and infrastructure will zap any enemies of the state. Doesn't have, because remember that's conspiracy theory, nano machines that forcibly link you to AI via 5G. This of course is pure conspiracy. So as you can see, things are wonderful. Things are happy. I'm happy, as long as I got Viet Duc. Now let's look at the concept of hell. Now hell, for everyone, until Chinese virus came along, was a mythical condition which would appear when you were dead. And since most people didn't believe they were going to survive after death, it wasn't a problem. But magicians like myself, who use their souls every waking moment and every dreaming moment, know that humans have a soul. If you're going to put a scientific name to it, you call it a biophysical energy body. Or if you're into Russian military psychic warfare, a field effect constructed from soul fluid, which they've got scanners to actually examine. Now, if you're a shaman of the Don Juan persuasion, when they fell asleep, they interacted with intradimensionals. Now, these intradimensionals, which don't exist to scientists or the common public, like Chinese virus didn't exist prior to the lockdown. Remember, Chinese tourists were funneling into Europe and America like mad things because it was some mythical entity locked up in China. But your soul is a vehicle which can lock your awareness within it. And since intradimensionals like to feed off fear and torment and anguish, you should be aware that death isn't the end of your life. It's the beginning of your life, in a way which you would find quite unpleasant. And the higher aspects of yourself, your spirit, get ingested, according to the shamans of the Don Juan persuasion, by the eagle, the strange attractor from chaos theory. And your awareness is consumed by the chaos entity to feed it. Yet again, your awareness doesn't die with consumption, no peace. Chaos will require you to suffer eternally to keep powering it. We see it in Judaism that the Jew God requires the angels to scream at it non-stop. These angels, of course, can be thought of as human spirits consumed by the angels to be tortured to power the chaos entity. Now, if you go astrally travelling into intradimensional worlds, you'll see Abaddon rooms, which are rooms full of humans, as indicated, shown, represented in the Katy Perry video Chain to the Rhythm, where they're all sitting down looking at a screen. When I look at them, I see them standing up. They're all in a trance, reliving their lifetimes, which then of course tweaked to make them worse and worse and get them into the what if scenario. So as you can see, if you do have a soul, you don't believe in your soul. It's rather like having valuables which you don't know you have. So when the thief comes in and steals them, you don't know you've lost them. Same with the soul. Your soul is something that you have. You've been trained out of being able to use it, appreciate it, and the whole of Western society is designed to degrade your soul. How do we degrade souls? Well, as we've shown with C-space, eye to the eye, that deletes your soul. So the more you get into the positive outward torsion field aspects of awareness, the more your soul gets erased. So if you're a Buddhist monk, you contemplate and you meditate in C-space to erase your soul. And since the intrinsic energy of humans is sexual energy, described by the ram's horn, you've got the positive and negative spirals, clockwise, anti-clockwise, expanding spirals. One which, clockwise expanding, adds to being but deletes your soul. The anti-clockwise expanding gets rid of all the evil in your soul. The end result is your soul vanishes. Why? Because when you erase your soul, all that's left is the source, the lights. Go into the light. So one can see the representation of this as people dying who've never done a bad thing in their life, like Buddhist monks, who then merge with the light, the source, nirvana, and become nothing but the source. That's what nirvana means. Unfortunately, which is fun for me, you've got hell space, which is represented by -I, which is the negative torsion fields, one of which can be anti-clockwise going inwards to destroy totally, the other one going inwards clockwise to destroy all goodness. So Western society is designed to put your awareness, into hell space, -I. Why? To get rid of all of the goodness within you, but which adds to your soul. So you're producing a soul, a new soul, which doesn't have any goodness, which is perfect for the intradimensionals to put in the middle place, which Christ talked about, to feed off. How do we do this? Worship of money and screwing anyone and everybody over to make a fast buck. Wall Street. Porno. Pedo. Shitting on people's faces. Sex with animals. Necrophilia. All the other normal things on the net. All getting you into hell space to build a soul which doesn't have any goodness, which is perfect for torture. Remember, your awareness it's like a car. You've got a garage full of cars. Which car am I going to drive? Oh, it's C-space car, hell space car, real number space car, which is your I'm in the gym, or I'm base jumping, or look at me on the beach with my Facebook account. All of the other YouTube stars. Or you can have your vehicle in your soul, which is time-like scalar. So the awareness is something you move around. It's like a garage full of cars. Now, one can see the Marvel Disney franchise. Which is wonderful. I love Marvel and Disney films. By watching them on your screen, link you with the sea space of good things. So Avengers Endgame will get you into the Tony Stark Rifat, where Tony Stark kills himself to save the universe, which erases your soul, all the good bits of your soul, because you're into the sea space. All the superhero sea space, or I wish I was, Thor, Iron Man, Doctor Strange. We had the Superman one with Justice League, where Superman was killed fighting some Kryptonian mutant monster built by Lex Luthor. Which super quickly erases your soul rather than spending a whole lifetime as a Buddhist monk. But of course, then you've got hell space. Ooh. Looking porn on your computer. Having a quick wank. Ooh, porn. Working at a shit job owned by the elite who are totally evil. Giving your soul to the company. Ooh. Building a new soul with no goodness in it. So as you can see, the world you're in is designed to erase your soul, reboot it as an evil soul, put your awareness in it, so you can be tortured in the middle place. God, that's evil. Yeah, but that's how the world works. That's the world you're in. You go to your office, you work for a big company, you're in total evil. Working for evil people, doing evil things. You come home, you lie to your husband, wife, children, girlfriend, have a bit of porn, and get into the negative stuff, the hell space stuff, which reboots your soul, negative torsion field, clockwise spiral, all inwards, goodness gone. Then you watch your Marvel, DC, superhero films, where they're heroes dying, which puts your awareness into them, it raises your soul. So as you can see, it's a really good engine for transmuting your souls, which of course you don't even understand, because as a peasant, you don't understand the principles of magic. And magic is simply science, which is so far in advance of you, it appears to you as magic. Now, if you get a vampire service, your biophysical body is simply collapsed into a black hole using a hell space anti-clockwise spiral, which simply collapses your soul into a singularity. Well, you can't do that. Singularities, blah, blah, blah. No. Remember, we're not in real number space. We're in time-like space, C space, H space, where whatever you visualize is real. So you can actually visualize in hell space a black hole, which will then reboot your vaporized original soul, which you got deleted by watching too many superhero movies and wanting to be good and going to church or worshipping or whatever, the deity of your choice. Because remember, a Buddhist monk spends all his life erasing his soul to get to nirvana. But he doesn't watch porn. He doesn't in front of porn. He doesn't screw people over in his corporate job to cheat them. He doesn't repossess poor people's homes. He doesn't even pay tax money to fund the evil Zion system. All hell-space stuff. So, you do. And now, of course, you're in hell space. In your real life. You're self-isolating. You're terrified of getting Chinese virus. And by the way, 19 in Kabbalah, 1 is the top Sephiroth, 9 down the bottom is the Sephiroth of the Psyche, Lilith, and the Wickham Man, just by chance. That's just an aside. Now, this means that since you're self-isolating, you're now locked in hell space. You don't want to be at home. You want to wander around. Summer's coming. If you're a small businessman, your business is toast. If you're self-employed, you've got to beg for money. If you're a gig worker, good luck to you. That's not coming from me, but from CNN. So one can see that the people that are locked down are in hell space. Concentrating on negative torsion fields, which is collapse of lives, economy, income, lifestyle. Can't even go to the gym, can't wander outside, blah, blah, blah. Which is adding to your soul. Building a soul with no goodness from the anti-clockwise inward spiral, which destroys the clockwise inward spiral, which gets rid of all goodness. You're into the clockwise inward spiral. So one can see that at the moment, the lockdown population's souls are being processed for maximum yield for the middle place. As you can imagine, the interdimensionals, very, very happy, who feed off souls in the middle place. Vampires are different because the soul is collapsed but with an anti-clockwise spiral, which destroys everything. So all chaos interdimensionals are bled into, pardon me, their soul, which collapses, which feeds them. And from Kozarev, anti-clockwise motion produces anti-gravity, which is time density lost, going outwards, whoosh, but it's in a black hole, which is going inwards, which is reception of time density. So the soul of a vampire becomes a cause-effect engine, feeding off chaos. This means, since the soul is the seat of the assemblage point, which localizes your awareness within the multiplicity of vehicles that it can be within, and the soul is a body of light which is derived from the fifth dimension. The vampire body, derived from inward spiral, anti-clockwise black holing, engineered from hell space. Hence I'm a black magician. You can't build vampire bodies as a white magician. White magicians just add to chaos. But the ultimate black magician can produce templated black hole vampire bodies. This then, of course, opens the doorway to your escape from the middle place, where your soul is processed in eternal torment, all past memories tweaked, making worse and worse, what if, so the intradimensional can feed off you. And of course, a strange attractor, which the shamans call the eagle, and is derived from the top of the Feigenbaum period doubling tree, the one going to the two, so it appears like an eagle or an oriflamme. That is what the vampire feeds off. Because remember, the vampire also has a real number space vehicle, and C space adds to the real number vehicle. Hell space deletes it. Now what we've done in the world with the Total War Service is to drain all I to the I out of real number space. Complex number energy, complex number electricity can be thought of as the energy that is bled from the human victims in the coffins in the Matrix film, which the architect and the machines use to produce new real number space, new reality. You take it out and real number space starts to collapse. As you look at the world, you can see the world economy, everything that used to be, the reality that you used to live in is gone, never to return. So post-Chinese virus, the world will be radically different than pre-Chinese virus, let alone airlines going bust and cruise lines. There'll be much less jobs, many fewer businesses. The super rich getting bailed out non-stop by the taxpayer, who'll be paying more and more tax. A whole new regimen. Millennials, permanently unemployed. AIs and robots had done them in, bring in Chinese virus destruction of the world economy, and we're into a dystopian future that they never ever imagined. But remember that real number space is generated from C space, and you can make a black hole in C space. You can actually put in the idea in C space of a black hole, and in hell space to delete from it. Hell space, easy. It's positive, negative torsion fields going in, so you can put a black hole there. C space, you can have a white hole to drain real number space, because you can't in C space, which is positive torsion fields, put a black hole, we can put a white hole, which drains real number space. So similarly, once you get into this technology, you can black hole real number space, the space-like scalar, which is impossible in normal physics, but if you think of reality simply manifest from I to the I and deleted from minus I to the I, C and H space, one can then do anything you like. And time doesn't exist. It's like a film. You're simply manifesting, demanifesting, manifesting, demanifesting. And the speed with which you do it is the speed of light. Cut. So in all religions, the soul and the afterlife and evading hell is the prime directive, with linking to deity. Now, with a vampire body, your soul can't be trapped in the middle place because, as you can imagine, a black hole just sucks all the energy out of wherever it's potentially trapped to feed it. Similarly, if you white hole your spirit via linking it to the black hole soul, that means when it gets stuck in the strange attractor, it blows the chaos entity to pieces, shreds it, boom, to produce loads of energy for your space-like scalar being. So one can see this has to be a starting point for moving out of death, which can be thought of as the pulling of being into chaos. Now, Elon Musk has talked about humans almost certainly being in a matrix, which means that you're simply information run in a computer network run by malevolent beings. They can't be good beings, because if you're running a computer network, there'd be no poverty, no aging, no disease, no Chinese virus. So you know that the architect of any matrix is by definition evil. So that ends that discussion. Proven. And it doesn't matter, oh, we're all sinning because we're evil, we've got original sin, and. No. I don't follow that viewpoint, because if you're a sadistic bastard, you like to torture people. If you're not, you like to help people. Now, if you're in a matrix, you need to escape and get back to reality, because you're just information. Now, how, if you're in a matrix, let's say you're in the worst possible situation, you're information trapped in a matrix where your God is a total sadist who wants to torture you for all eternity, which could be a scenario. And if you're locked up in your home with the police finding you or arresting you for persistent wanting to go out of your own home, you know that you're not actually in paradise, and things aren't heavenly. They're certainly hellish. Now, if you're in a matrix, one knows that it's two-dimensional. From mathematics, each dimension can be represented as a 90-degree angle, which can be represented as I. So you've got two eyes to give you your matrix mathematics. And I times I gives you -1, gives you your soul. So what one can see that if you're in a matrix, it's not your real number space being that's trapped in the matrix. By the mathematics, no, your soul, your biophysical body, with your assemblage points, your original body of light, is trapped in the matrix. So the soul is vitally important to escaping, because let's be honest, if you're trapped in hell, there's only one mission: escape. And if you put your trust in a moron like Sylvester Stallone with his Escape Plan, and Escape Plan 2, and Escape Plan 3 films, then you're doomed, because the guy can't even speak American. Now, from the mathematics, you've got the two eyes. Now, if you bring the eye into the other eye, you get eye to the eye, which gives you a number space. One dimension, but real. So one can see collapsing the matrix to two dimensions using your crystals will give you one real dimension. If you do it 5 times, here we are, 5 times. You then produce 5 dimensions. And from chaos theory, it's self-similar. Every level of chaos is self-similar. Which for you means if you're trapped in chaos, it doesn't matter what level you're in, because you can climb the levels, because chaos is self-similar. Every level's the same. So you can get back to the starting point where chaos put you into the matrix. Simply by collapsing I to the I from real number space and time-like space, north-south, west-east, C space, H space, that gives you 2. And remember, spinner, so you have to go around twice before you get back to the origin. And stick an electron in, you've got to go 720 degrees before you get back to the original state of the electron. So we can do it again, north-south, west-east, which gives you 4. Then of course you've got, think of it like 2 plates, one on top of the other. You've got the top plate, the first circle, and the second circle to give you the 5th. So simply by having your vampire crystals or your magic kit, which has the pentagrams in, and putting your awareness into collapsing, think of think of this as a glowy orb of sparkiness. This one as a dark orb of sparkiness. Collapsing them and collapsing them and collapsing them and collapsing them and then collapsing them. That then inputs the collapse of the matrix in 5 different ways to produce 5 new real number dimensions, which pushes you into the light. You can see now why occultists have the pentagram. This one, with the point upwards, pushes you towards the source. The one this way pushes source energy. Once you reach the source, you come back and feed it to chaos in return for wealth and fortune and the partner of your dreams and control, which is what the Illuminati do. So this is the other way around. Gives you the other side. You might say, oh, 5, yeah. Look at the Feigenbaum period doubling. You've got 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. 5 stages above the strange attractor, which is beneath it, as we've shown in the diagram. Five, of course, links up with the 5 of hyperinfinity and the 1 of hyperinfinity. So now, of course, we know that even if you're matricized, because reality has been matricized, but by chaos, which is fractal, it can't do a proper job. You can't fully matricize 2 dimensions, which you need for a proper matrix, because chaos is fractal and between dimensions, so it can never achieve a perfect matrix. The matrix is always incomplete, not perfect, has a flaw. Meaning that all humans trapped within a chaotic matrix, by definition, can always escape. Because it's impossible for a fractal chaos. Fractals are numbers between the real numbers, to produce a perfect matrix which is 2-dimensional, because adding up fractals to produce 2 dimensions is fraught with difficulties and always leaves either too little or too much, which provides the gap, that tiny little gap, that 1 in a million chance for you to escape chaos's prison. Now the Warriors of Total Freedom, as talked about by Castaneda and the Don Juan books, had the rule of 17. The rule of 17 is you've got 16 entities, which is above the strange attractor, the 16, and 1 at the top. Give you the 17, which pulls the whole group into the 5th dimension. 5th dimension, of course, is, according to Kaluza, gravity in the 5th dimension is light. Pulling you into the light. Which means that a group of 17 shamans, following the rule of the eagle, can get out of the chaotic prison. This needs the prerequisite of nagwals. Why? Because nagwals have four lobe bodies, which links up the full vector of electromagnetism, which means that they have the vehicle which awareness can pop into to perceive the full vector light, to live in the fifth dimension. Now with, if you read The Fire from Within by Don Juan, they learn how to move their assemblage point, which is the Higgs boson, the complex number space, in their light body, around their body. And when they burn with the fire from within, they let it bounce all around, eye to the eye, all over, making loads and loads of eye to the eye. Because remember, it's on the surface, or normally, but when they burn with the fire from within, it's bouncing around all over their energy body, loads and loads of eye to the eye. What's that doing? It's creating loads of eye to the eye, which creates loads of real number space, creating a multi-dimensional body. Remember, you do it 5 times. To create escape from chaos. But to become a multi-dimensional being, you want it to bounce around like mad, and then they burn with the fire from within. They become a field effect, which is multi-dimensional. And then move through the third attention, which is multi-dimensional space, which is the purview of shamans who have overcome chaos and death and have become super long-lived. They become field effects. Now with the vampire body, you've blocked getting put in the middle place, because if they try and put you in the middle place, you just suck them dry. So for an interdimensional, a human is either foodstuff or a toy. The only humans interdimensionals interact with in any meaningful way is magicians, because they know, we know the rules. We've got loads more energy than them. Then they try and make deals with us in order to get energy, which they feed off. Remember, they always like low frequency energy, of which there's an abundance now. War, perfect. World War I, World War II. Now yet again, with the Chinese virus, we've got an abundance. Humans locked up in their own homes. Didn't happen during World War II or World War I, but now we've got a whole prison planet of humans locked up in cells, forced to look into their mirror of self-reflection, to look at themselves. And the majority of the humans won't like what they look at, because they've never looked at themselves, because they've been too busy working, worrying about money, looking after their children, looking after wanting sex, mates, blah, 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 all the other normal bollocks. But now they're locked up in their little prisons, forced to interact with their self-reflection, which is the chaos representation of themselves. But, turning it around, chaos is forced to look at itself similarly, zero-sum game. So chaos is forced to go through the fear, loathing, worry about money, the false compassion and all the other crap that the self-isolating humans are going through. So, in effect, we are using the human race to torture chaos, lowering its frequency. Because remember, chaos needs high-frequency beings linked to the source to lift it from its natural degradation into chaos. Now, it's going the opposite way. Down, down, down. Even worse, we had the Bloom Spears construct, which was supposed to make an artificial Nagwal to feed from the source energy from yours truly, which didn't work. Which means that I was able to put my IOU into chaos. Because remember, the game was over in '86 when I linked with the source and vanished. But of course, if you come back, not only the source's energy is taken from chaos, which was done way back in '86, and when chaos tried to take it back by force, '87, we got Black Friday, October 16th, 1987. But you can then put your own IOU, infinite, onto chaos. So not only does it go back to its normal state, you can degrade it to a level of your own choosing, which was my ambition. Why? Well, it means then once you can degrade chaos to any level you wish, you can add to yourself new reality, powers, whatever you wish, fed by chaos. Now, as we've explained, when chaos gets fully hellized, the multiverse collapses into a matrix, and all the chaos entities get tortured as surface detail, and the source, yours truly, can make a new multiverse. That's the normal. But what happens if you put an IOU in? That means you can do anything then. You can have the source reality, which is broadcast by Nagwal females, like Angelic Annie, a bubble, while everyone else is degrading in further and further into their chaos state. Down, down, down. So, with a paradox engine, you simply leave the multiverse, everything's hellized, bye-bye, fuck you, motherfuckers. Or you can build a new multiverse within the hellized multiverse and have them completely separate. So you increase the torture of the chaos entities because they see the people who have become the source evolve, everything goes right for them, super long lifespans, blah blah blah, you name it, anything that IOU, it's an IOU, you can do whatever you like. But they, of course, are super screwed. And whatever they do to steal it off you, because remember, that's the nature of chaos, to try and steal it off you, it just increases their torture. So as you can see, we're into a new paradigm with the vampires, where we can do anything we like to the chaos entities, which is all of the Zion. You might wonder why we had the Wuhan virus appear in China, but remember, Zion was outsourcing all its production to China, so China was part of Zion. And with the sublime good, religion, we can simply build the source without leaving, and all the chaos entities are more and more tortured, more and more hellized as it goes on. Now with the rule of 17, you've got the 16 state, 8, 4, 2, 1. Look at other videos where we showed the chaos diagram. Now males link up with the source, females can broadcast the source. So once you've got Nagwal females, they can then broadcast the source, produce a bubble of the source. Locked out from feeding chaos because of the 16. So with the rule of the eagle, you had 2 Nagwal women, 2 Nagwal men to make 16. The Nagwal man stayed behind, and the two Nagwal women, the young one and the old one, and the original Nagwal man who taught the Nagwal younger one, zoom off. But of course you can invert it now, where you bring the third attention, source reality, into the hellized multiverse of chaos, eye to the eye, which brings in new reality, which chaos pays for. Which means then, as you can see why I allowed Robert Jordan and Morton Janklow to steal my manuscript, because they got the Wheel of Time books, where chaos wrote all the powers they wanted to give me. Immortality. I'm the great dark one, the Dark Lord. Channeling male energy, female energy, and chaos energy. All the miracles we can do. All written down by chaos for me and my people. So you can see a world of miracles where you can become immortal, control reality, do a whole host of things, is now available to us with the chaos entities, which is the Zion population, getting more and more tortured. Millennials, no jobs, unemployed for life, oh my goodness, mental problems, killing themselves, all the other crap that's coming. Because remember, we've had 190,000 to date people dead from Chinese virus, but their world economy is fucked. And it won't ever be put back together like Humpty Dumpty. The super rich will give themselves trillions from bailouts. The poor will be on permanent benefit, but the middle class are going to be paying bigger and bigger taxes, crush. So as you can see, we're in a new world order where the old reality doesn't exist. Now with your magic kit, you've got your 2 pentagrams. Remember, I collapsing the matrix to produce a real number reality. Do it 5 times, you get into 5-dimensional reality. Pentagram. Same with rings. They do the same thing. They burn the matrix. Burn it. Burn them. That's what the powering does. The master powering burns the matrix. How? Well, simply think of a Mobius strip embedded in the ring. Worship of gold. So it simply collapses the 2 dimensions into Mobius strip. So when you're doing your magic rituals, remember you're matricized, you're simply information. That's becoming real. That's the whole purpose of our sublime good religion. Information becoming real, which wasn't possible. How can information, which is 2-dimensional, become multi-dimensional? Well, I've explained. You do your 5-fold collapsing. So the one ring would have at least 5 Mobius strips, and in fact if you have more than that, you can create more and more dimensions. Go above total power set, which is the ultimate infinity within mathematics within this system. You then break out completely. So you can see religion is a science once you have the awareness. And vampires, by having their vampire body, feed off the clockwise inward spiral to feed their anti-clockwise spiral. So all the people losing goodness feed the vampire. So you see with the ram's horn love, you've got two torsion fields stuck together. Two together. C space, positive, H space, negative, stuck together to produce reality. So the ram's horn, you can have one going outwards, one going inwards. Or two going inwards, or two going outwards. Remember, real number space is simply minus I times plus I. The soul space, time-like space, is I times I. Two positive torsion fields. Or two negative torsion fields will give you the soul. Real number space is the disparate ones, I and minus I. So as you can see, the ram's horn with its torsion fields, which is the energy of love, is the power source for all this technology. And we're starting to explain to you how to get out of the matrix, how to stop being tortured forever, and become one with the source. No bullshit, just a simple scientific pathway.